Trying to choose a camping stove right now is a bit of a nightmare. Do you need a jet boil, a Trangia, a full-on kitchen cooker? No, I've taken 3 stoves, gas, alcohol, multi-fuel, and properly tested them. We're testing the boil time, weight, safety, and when they actually don't make sense. And we're testing an extra dirt cheap stove that anyone can get their hands on at the end of the video. So by the end of this, you know exactly which one's worth taking out and which one's not. The gas stove we're testing today costs a total of £22 on Amazon. The weight of the stove head comes in at 115 grams and the gas comes in at 365. Together, before your first use, that's about 480 grams or half a kilo. The stove head's got a self-igniter that works relatively well. Well, that doesn't work too well. However, I always carry an extra way to light my stove. Matches are the lightest. Just cut a striker off the box and bag a couple matches to protect them. It weighs next to nothing and it might save your trip. A lighter also lit the stove really well, it just made me shit myself. The ferro rod's my favourite. It weighs more but it's the most reliable in bad weather. The whole canister's able to boil about 33 cups of water, so 10 litres in ideal conditions, so minimal wind, a windbreak and water that isn't overly cold. We're testing with ice cold water today to mimic natural sources and if you're out in colder weather. This means that any situation you're in where the water's warmer, you know it'll be faster than these times, even by a little bit. The boil time in this stove's nothing short of impressive. Without a windbreak it takes 2 minutes 44 seconds to boil 300 millilitres of cold water. With a windbreak it takes 2 minutes 20 seconds, so it doesn't shave much off but it is a noticeable difference. The absolute fastest I could get the stove to boil was 1 minute 45 seconds. It is unbelievably fast when you're so used to alcohol stoves. While they're impressive, you have to understand the risks. You can't cook with one of these stoves inside your tent. The build-up of carbon monoxide, an odourless invisible gas, is deadly. It doesn't take much exposure to be fatal, so use these stoves mindfully and in well ventilated areas. Also, always triple check your stove's valve is completely closed and your canister isn't leaking when you go to bed. Safety's king and these stoves work best when you're careful. I just found that out the hard way. I have absolutely no idea what happened there. I just turned on the gas stove and the whole thing turned into a big fireball. I turned it on and picked it up and ignited it and I had to throw it down. That's how much flame was coming off of it. I have. That's what happened. That adds another safety element. That could burn down your tent or cause a wildfire. It's just a reminder that you're not just cooking meals, you're quite literally playing with fire when you're out. This is pretty much the lowest that the damper's going. If that falls... This is why I make these guides, folks. This sort of information or situation can be really easily overlooked. Just whatever you do, don't fill up the tent with gas and then have a cigarette or play with matches or something. I don't know really. The gas will get excited and you'll end up on fire. You can add smaller fuel canisters to minimise weight, so I'll add some of them to my list on Amazon. For what you get, this is probably one of the best value setups. I've dropped the exact one I'm using in the list too. The alcohol stove we're testing today costs £17 on Amazon without any additional kit like a windbreak or a tool to light it, so I'll add those prices at the end of the video and they'll be on my Amazon list. The weight of the stove comes in at 110 grams. If you decide to carry fuel in separate smaller bottles, you can get away with just one for an overnight trip and that'll weigh around 100 grams. I always tend to use a windbreak and a twig stove to hold my alcohol stove because I find it's the safest way to use it. This adds 300 grams to the total weight, making it much heavier. You can only use liquid alcohol fuel in the Trangia. The best options are methylated spirits and bioethanol. Methylated spirits are cheaper but they release more soot onto your pots. Or you can use bioethanol It burns cleaner, more efficiently, and it's better for the environment. It's just more expensive. If you want to go with the cheaper fuel, methylated spirits, I got mine in Home Bargains for about £3, but you can also get it on Amazon for about £4.50. The Trangia is designed to burn hotter and more efficiently than other alcohol stoves. It's a really reliable and efficient piece of kit. The light test was weird. It lit much better with a ferro rod than it did the matches. As for the lighter, just watch. Whoa. Oh my god. Yep, well that worked. For educational purposes, I'm going to do that one more time, but I'm going to turn the camera on slow motion. Boom. Explosion. Honestly, the most reliable option was the ferro rod. Just get one of them. I still have had problems with the ferro rod lighting liquid alcohol in colder conditions. When the fuel's colder, it can really struggle to take a spark and actually light. It can be frustrating, but if you're using a ferro rod, you need to be careful. You can get blinded by that frustration and start throwing your hands all over the place. Slow down. How did that work? Pull the rod along the striker towards yourself in one controlled strike. If you push it away from yourself, you might knock over your stove and make the situation worse. Don't do that, you look daft. The boil test was interesting. I tested the stove with both fuel types for a control test. This helped me establish the difference in time between the fuels. With methylated spirits, the boil time for 300ml of water was 5 minutes 40. With bioethanol it was 5 minutes 10, so it cut a whole 30 seconds off. The pot was far cleaner with the bioethanol with trace amounts of soot. It still needed a wipe, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad. You can buy really cheap pot stands for the Trangia, so I recommend you get one of those, plus a windbreak for safety and burn efficiency. I really don't recommend using the stove without those safety nets in place. That being said, you can still have accidents with that kit. After that, I tested the stove with only tent pegs holding the pot, then my usual setup, the twig stove and windbreak. The boil time came in at 10 minutes 50, nearly 11 minutes for the pegs. It didn't even boil without the windbreak. On the other hand, the setup I normally use took about 6 minutes 20 seconds, so nearly half the time. It's pretty clear how much better the heavier, more insulated setup is. It is faster and safer, but at the end of the day, the choice is yours. An important side note to mention is that the Trangia comes with a simmer ring. You can use this to put out your stove when you're done with it, or you can cover up the burner holes for a much slower burn. This is better for frying stuff and cooking stuff over a longer period than just blasting it with the highest heat it can go. On top of that, you can also store fuel inside of the Trangia and transport it inside, so you don't need any fuel bottles or anything like that. I rarely ever use the simmer ring, but it's an extra detail and it's there if I need it. Sometimes one of these stoves is a blatant no. In the height of summer, alcohol stoves are one of the most dangerous pieces of kit you can use. If you're among the hills cooking and it tips, it will cause a wildfire. It's incredibly dangerous to use these stoves in any kind of dry spell unless you're cooking against a body of water like a loch. Even then, you should avoid using these as much as possible in the dry seasons. If the sun's really bright outside, some alcohol stoves and fuel end up being pretty much invisible. In broad daylight, you could spill some on yourself and accidentally catch yourself on fire without knowing before it's too late. When the fuel burns, it genuinely can be invisible, and if you get it on your clothes, you could cause yourself a serious injury. Don't be reckless and thoroughly think about how and where it's safe to use an alcohol stove. The multi-fuel pocket stove we're looking at costs £7 on Amazon. The weight of this bad boy is impressive. It weighs 115 grams and it can fit snug in a pocket. This stove can supposedly take different types of fuel, the first being liquid alcohol. Oh, that fuel's leaking. Right, that's really bad. You cannot use alcohol in this stove, there's a hole in the back. That is a no on any liquid fuel in this stove. The other fuel types that it takes are far safer. Solid fuel blocks and alcohol gel. The solid fuel blocks cost £2.50 and the ethanol gel costs around £10. I did some digging and it turns out that the solid fuel and the gel both use the same ingredients. I'm not sure if the consistency makes these burn differently, however they both use denatured ethanol, and the solid fuel tastes pretty good too. I'm going to assume that the burn time isn't too different for this video, however anybody can feel free to correct me down below. This one was surprising. It lit better with the ferro rod and matches than the lighter. The boil time of the solid fuel came in at 5 minutes and 21 seconds. That being said, the solid fuel was definitely faster than I expected, but I don't think this stove would perform nearly as well in high winds. Unless you're using a windbreak, you might be able to get away with it then. Each fuel block weighs 30 grams and burns for a total of 12 minutes, so in theory you could maybe boil 700ml of water. You honestly might not even be able to boil any water if the wind's bad enough, so maybe consider getting a windbreak if you want to use one of these, particularly in windier conditions. Also make sure you protect the ground, especially in a dry area. If you don't care about speed though, the stove's cheap and it does its job, just so long as you're using solid fuel. I'd probably carry this one as a backup on longer trips in case I really needed it. Apparently the solid fuel for the stove says that it's safe to use indoors and outdoors. I personally would only use this indoors in a very well ventilated area. I wouldn't risk it, it's not worth the potential risks of monoxide poisoning, but it's your call at the end of the day. I would just advise you don't. Again, you need to be aware of the dangers, much the same as the regular alcohol stove. This can be dangerous in dry spells and you do have to practice good common sense before you take it out. Be careful and safe. Let's talk about the extra stove that pretty much anyone can get their hands on. The tin can stove will cost you between £3 and £10 depending on the fuel you're willing to buy. I used methylated spirits, an empty tuna can and propped up the pot with a stick on the windbreak. This does make it really unstable though, so don't use this in a windy place or dry place. I didn't bother with a light test on this one, it's much the same as the Trangia, just a little bit more accessible with a lighter. The boil time was a lot faster than I expected, sitting at 4 minutes 40 seconds. So faster than my normal setup, somehow. The only problem is by not spending more money on safer gear, you're compromising your safety, and whether that's really worth it is up to you. I wouldn't rely on this in harsher conditions though, I'd get something more reliable and predictable. It works, but this is definitely more of a messing about on a trip or a first trip kind of setup. The price, weight and speed of each stove varies wildly, but here's the rundown. If you want the cheapest stove, go with a tin can. If you want the cheapest stove that's actually reliable, go with a multi-fuel stove. If you're looking for the lightest reliable stove, in my opinion, the Trangia is going to be your best option. If you want a stove that boils or cooks the fastest, the gas stove's your go-to. If you want a stove that will last you years, definitely get the Trangia, but don't forget a windbreak and a pot stand. If you only care about reliability and nothing else, go with the Trangia or the gas stove. They each have their strengths, but it's all down to you. If you want to see how this gear actually holds up on real wild camping trips when it's wet and cold, have a look at the videos on the channel. I've got my full adventure playlist and beginner playlist linked above. I'm Wild Camping Adam, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.